In the next 30 minutes, we are expecting a pretty exciting delivery here on the farm to kick off Harvest 2025 preparations. It's sort of hard to believe it now. We're 6 weeks out, maybe 7, from firing up a combine and starting to roll on our earliest planted beans. As they've always said, time flies when you're having fun, because we're having fun here. That's what we're doing. I obviously don't have a knack for good timing, because in about 5 or 6 weeks, we also are expecting our third boy, which could get a little interesting and chaotic. We'll figure it out. My wife's world class. I'm probably C tier at best. So we balance out to a decent average. This delivery's been on the road for quite a while now. It is on the way from the great Canadian province of Manitoba, courtesy of Bill with Flatland Express. So it's a big rig on a lowboy, and they're gonna need a lot of room, I think. So we're gonna back the tankers out of the way so we don't have any kind of bottlenecks. I'm gonna need a little bit of help to unload this, probably with the 8R370. Grain cart, don't watch this part. You're not gonna like this. Dad's also hovering around. We're gonna move the 2 semis over to the side lot and just free up some space. We ended up with just shy of an inch yesterday. Beautiful rain, all things considered. And Dad said today there's flash flood watches and maybe even warnings around. Things can go from perfect to ugly pretty quick. We're closer to perfect than we normally have been. You farmers out there know that perfect is a relative term. It's not really accomplishable on a farm. You're never going to find true perfection without just spending a fortune on drainage, fertility, and having impeccable luck with the weather. We are relatively perfect, all things considered. The last 2 growing seasons, it's hardly rained in June. We get a flood in July, and then it stops raining in August. That's not a recipe for phenomenal yields, yet we can still produce good crops. Right now, we're on track for a Goldilocks year where it's just right, other than a couple of wind events that cause some lodging. No big deal. I wish we could grow crops that are as resilient as water hemp. It'll grow everywhere, survive almost every herbicide. If you don't stop it from emerging, it's like a freight train without brakes. All of our ducks are in a row. Now we just need to wait on Bill and see just how timely he is. He said 11:40 and it is 11:38. Wow. I've had local short haul delivery drivers who can't even be this timely. He's here on the dot. There's no guessing now. An Elmer's Hallmaster 1300 grain cart. Very similar to what we ran last fall on a demo. This one's got a few different features that we'll talk about at some later point in time. For now, we're just trying to get it unloaded. All right. Problem with working, you start sweating.
Now what we're going to do with the hitch is too high. Let it down?
We'll hook up the hydraulics and lift it up, take the blocks out and drop it down.
Catch your front end hard that way. Other way. No more. Ease forward a hair. You want this on one? Doesn't matter. Other way. Other way. Ho! Other way.
And that block is yours.
Bill, the driver, gave me the vibes that he wanted to be left alone while he put the trailer back together, and Dad over there, he just can't help himself. He's always got to be part of the action. I've not been particularly excited to kick off harvest season for no reason other than the same old always going on. Yet now, I'm feeling a little bit anxious to get started. The one day I got to spin with this last year, it was a different cart. I think this one is brand new. Was enough for me to know that this is just awesome to run. If you are like me and enjoy highly capable and technologically equipped machines or implements, in this case a grain cart, the Elmer's Haulmaster is top of the line. It would be dishonest of me not to come forward and reiterate that this Haulmaster right here is a demo for our farm and for us to showcase here on the YouTube channel during harvest. I'm very privileged to have this opportunity thanks to all of you watching. I will continue to try and provide unbiased analysis of what I see. As I've already mentioned, I love this cart for the little time I ran it last year. There's a long list of features that I actually will probably need to study up on just to go over the cart with you guys. It has a lot going on and it is a lot of fun to run. Bill is not going to be leaving with our J&M 1222 because this is still ours. This is a demo. It'll most likely just sit in the shed all year. This has been a good, reliable cart. It isn't particularly fancy in any specific area. It's simple, it's reliable, it's easy to maintain throughout the season. The tracks have been nice. There's really not a lot of complaining to do. The J&M brand around here is really big, along with Unverferth in certain areas. Elmer's has yet to really be seen around here. They've not expanded heavily into the central, maybe more eastern corn belt. Part of us having this cart is a long-term goal for them to work their way east, and we're kind of in the middle of the corn belt. So I'm sure you'll see them keep moving that way as the years go on. We were not in a position to really want to upgrade grain carts. If I were to upgrade and everything was reasonable and the prices were right, Elmer's would probably be one of the first ones I looked at, just off of the relationships I've had with some of the gentlemen there that have been super forthcoming and friendly and just genuine quality people. It's a good representation of their brand, and I'm excited to work with them this year. We're running out of room in the other shed. To get that cart in there out of the elements, we had to bring this tractor over. Road oil and all. It turns out we did have enough room, so we brought this tractor back. Dad prefers not to store equipment at his shed if there's not plenty of room. Except for my sprayer, it just perpetually stays outside all season. If you are too antsy and just want to see a cart like this in action, I'm going to link my video from last fall where we demoed pretty much the exact same setup. Tony Fast out in Montana, some of you have heard of him on YouTube, great content creator. He has run these carts for a few years. Definitely head over to his channel, see what he has to say, and I think there's some other channels that have ran them as well in the past. Just type in the search bar, Elmer's Haulmaster cart, and I'm sure there'll be a plethora of things, including the 3,000 bushel cart that they manufacture, which is pretty sweet, although I would argue a little unnecessary for most of us farmers. This cart has a lot of features that aren't necessarily exclusive on the market. There are similar brands with competitive ideas going on. Elmer's engineering, their manufacturing, and their support of this system, I would guess, is hard to beat. Obviously, we have a right-hand unload cart here, so you're gonna unload on your right side. It's a little more ergonomic. When your seat in the tractor is made to turn almost all the way right in these 8R tractors, having the unloading auger, all your buttons on that side are nice. This also has the joystick that we'll need installed. It will run all the hydraulics. You've got a full pivoting auger here, and then the spout also goes side to side. So you get some length, some throw each direction. This is a dual auger cart, so it has the cross auger underneath and then the vertical unloading auger. It cleans out really nicely, and it can accomplish a lower profile than a gravity-fed center unload auger because it's got the cross auger cleaning out all the way. That allows you to maximize your bushels while minimizing your footprint. Speaking of footprint, we've got these gigantic Elmer's transfer tracts that have a pretty stout amount of surface area to reduce the compaction. Oil bath hubs for minimal maintenance. There are a few grease zerks here and there. We've had enough wet harvest with wheeled grain carts since I've been on the farm that I think tracks on the grain cart is the first place I would spend the money on them. They keep the cart somewhat out of the mud. They reduce compaction, which long-term helps you with harvestability and, of course, yield the next crop year. It is equipped with the fire suppression kit, so it has a hose and a pump to run water out if you have a fire issue. It's not a feature that you're going to see a lot, at least currently here in central Corn Belt. Very common in small grains country where they're prone to fires. The most important feature for a clumsy operator like myself is the included and integrated scoop shovel for when you need to clean up your messes. And the good Lord knows that I, on occasion, do make a mess or two. To briefly highlight the backside and our very poor lighting, we've got our access ladder, tarp crank, a hitch pin, I believe, so maybe you can pull a head trailer. That'd be nice. We even have our integrated lighting hook up here. That's a 7-pin. There's a grease zerk for that center auger. Camera, I'm not too sure about how that works. We are going to have to explore this cart at a later date. We'll get there, just not yet. The real luxury feature is the hydraulic jack on the front. We don't have a single implement on the farm that has a hydraulic front jack. Once we get some grain in the tank, we have the scoreboard display here on the side. That will show the combine operator how much weight is in the cart. If he wants to dispatch the cart driver to go load a truck, or maybe do some side-by-sides for yield testing, it just allows you to visualize that, cut out some radio chatter, or eliminate a phone call. Since the cart's not been set up, this sealed toolbox is probably the most important piece. It has all of our essentials. Here is our joystick for unloading that we will add later. We've got a manual. I need to read through everything, study up on the initial setup, see the grease points, and get this thing routed into the cab. That's it. That is all the information I'm giving on the cart for now. It was pretty rudimentary explanation of the features. This is very dynamic and capable. Once we thoroughly look everything over, get it hooked up and integrated with our 8R tractor, I will give you a more lengthy explanation of everything from A to Z on this grain cart and why I think it's so special and a good one to look at if you're in the market. Possibly we can get someone down from Elmer's to walk us through it. Brad talked to us last year. He's an expert If you want to watch the video again, it's linked on here, or check out Tony Fast. He's run these carts. This video obviously is very singularly focused on just this grain cart arriving. I've been kicking around the idea of maybe doing an updated harvest equipment tour. I haven't done one in a few years. If you guys would like to see that, maybe drop something down below. Tell me yes or no. If you've got any questions about any specific piece of equipment on our farm, give me a question in the comments. Maybe we'll do a review of the X9. I don't know. The oyster is yours. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see prior to harvest and as we get things going to kind of spice up the action. Summer gets a little stale, doing a lot of the same, spraying and spraying, spraying and then spraying some more is most of what I do all summer. Occasionally walk some beans, and that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here so it doesn't end up an hour long. Appreciate you all tuning in. Sure hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day, everyone. Peace.